Staying still costs you more than moving. That is the reality for Sagittarius in March. We've got some red flags going on here with this grip. You look at this Four of Pentacles and you see security. You see holding the line. But I see someone suffocating their own growth. That is the red flag that is in front of your eyes, and you won't see it because it feels safe. But safe isn't safe anymore. Welcome to Hidden Gate Tarot. We're looking at the trap, the interface, and the key for March. And your trap is the Four of Pentacles. You need to know what you're dealing with here. The trap isn't money. It's not poverty. The trap is the refusal to change your baseline. You've outgrown your foundation. We have Mercury retrograde happening in your 4th house of home and roots right now. And typically, you'd want to hunker down. You'd want to fix the cracks in the wall. You'd want to hold on to what you have because the world feels chaotic. But look at this. You cannot move when you're standing on your own resources like this. You are pinned down by your own need for certainty. There is something you don't want to see about your current situation, whether that's your living situation, your long-term job security, or just your comfort zone. You are holding on tight to a vision of your life that expired 6 months ago. And you know, deep down, you feel that constriction in your chest when you think about making a change. You say, no, I need to save money first. Or, no, I need to wait until the family situation settles down. That is a red flag. That justification, that is the energy leaking out of your life. You are spending so much energy maintaining a status quo that doesn't fit you anymore. You have nothing left for the actual expansion that Sagittarius is supposed to be about. You don't want to make that choice to walk away from a sure thing. Yeah, I get it. The Four of Pentacles is seductive. It tells you that if you just control everything, if you just budget harder, if you just grip tighter, you'll be okay. But with the eclipse energy we have coming in, that grip is going to snap. And if you are the one holding on, when the universe tries to pull it away, you're going to get dragged. So the trap is thinking that stability means staying put. Now in March, stability requires mobility. So how do we process that? What is the interface? We have the Hangman. This is the perspective flip. So if the Four of Pentacles is you trying to control every variable, the Hangman is the universe forcing you into a timeout until you see the truth. You might feel like things are stalling out in March. You try to push a project forward, it stops. You try to force a decision on a house or a job, and the paperwork gets lost. Mercury retrograde is doing its thing. Sure, but the Hangman suggests this is a spiritual pause, not just a logistical one. You need to know if that energy is leaking somewhere else. And right now, it's leaking into frustration because you're trying to force an old key into a new lock. So the Hangman asks you to sacrifice your need for control. That's the price of admission for this new chapter. You have to be willing to look foolish. You have to be willing to be the one who hangs upside down while everyone else is walking upright. You might be thinking, I've put 10 years into this career, or I've put 5 years into this house. The Hangman says, so what? If it's not serving the person you are becoming, it's just wait. There is a realization hitting you in the middle of the month. Now it's quiet. It's not a thunderclap. It's that moment you're lying in bed staring at the ceiling and you realize, I can't do this anymore. But you know, you've known for a while. You just haven't wanted to look at it because looking at it means you have to do something about it. So the Four of Pentacles fights the Hangman. The part of you that wants safety fights the part of you that needs enlightenment. This creates tension. This creates that feeling of being stuck in a hallway. And the suspension of the Hangman isn't punishment. It's preparation. You are being held in place so that you can detach from the outcome. You don't want to make the choice from a place of fear, which is the Four of Pentacles. You want to make the choice from a place of surrender and wisdom. So that's the Hangman. The red flag here is if you refuse to pause. If you just keep grinding, keep pushing, keep ignoring the signs that tell you to stop and reassess, you're going to hit a wall. The universe is putting up a detour sign. If you drive through it, that's on you. And here is the key. It's the Chariot. This is why you needed to let go. This is why you needed the perspective shift, because you were going somewhere. The Chariot is movement. It is relocation. It is a strategic action. We have a total lunar eclipse in Virgo happening in your 10th house of career and public standing. That is massive energy. That is accumulation. That is a door closing so another one can blast open. The Four of Pentacles wants to stay home. The Chariot is leaving the city. This implies that the solution is your problem. The way out of the trap is aggressive forward motion. Once you have the Hangman realization, once you see the old stability is actually a cage, you get in the Chariot and you go. This could be a literal move. With Mercury retrograde on the 4th and the eclipse on the 10th, a lot of you are looking at relocation for work or changing your entire career path to align with who you actually are. But you know what this requires? It requires you to hold the reins of two opposing forces. The Black Sphinx and the White Sphinx. Fear and excitement. The grief of leaving and the thrill of arriving. You don't want to make that choice lightly, but the Chariot doesn't do lightly, it does decisively. The Chariot is not about safe travel, it's about victorious travel. It's about knowing that you have outgrown the perimeter of your current life. If you stay in the Four of Pentacles, you rot. If you get in the Chariot, you risk, but the risk is where life is. You need to know that you are capable of steering this. The red flag of the Four of Pentacles was doubting your ability to survive without that safety net. And the Chariot is proof that you are the safety net. You are the vehicle. So the strategy for March is this. Stop gripping the old coins, accept the pause and the shift in perspective. And when the eclipse clears the path, you don't walk, you run, you drive, you move. You've outgrown your foundation. It served you well, it kept you safe, but you cannot build a skyscraper on the foundation meant for a cottage. The Chariot is demand. It demands you level up. It demands you leave the good enough behind for the great. There is something you didn't want to see because how powerful you actually are. Because if you acknowledge your power, you have no excuse to stay small. Don't let the fear of the unknown keep you locked in a room that's too small for you. If this structure made sense to you, subscribe. I do this work every month. So good luck, Sagittarius.